Hi there, welcome back inside the Tier 4 studio here in Morgantown, West Virginia. For the Charleston Gazette-Mail, I am an emotional Mike Casazza. This is part 15 of the 2015 and 15 countdown. I'm no longer previewing the start of the 2015 West Virginia University football season. Today I'll instead review the first practice. Some news, some names, all worth sharing with you. But let's begin with something that I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't mention earlier because Dana Holgorsen brought it up today, and it's a really good point. You'll remember a couple episodes ago we discussed the schedule and some of the cool and quirky parts about it. I did not mention the practice part of it. It's not games, but I still think it's important. It just wasn't as important enough to me to cram it into the 6+ minutes, and I wish I had, because it is important enough that it was the first thing off of Dana Holgorsen's tongue today. West Virginia has just 13 camp days and then 3 full weeks of classes before the first game. What's the difference there? Well, there are some restrictions in place for practice time, just to guard player safety and welfare and things like that during the camp part, but the rules are much more strict and restricting once the semester starts. Once school gets going, you can have 4 hours a day, 20 hours a week of football. That's a bit more challenging for a team to get ready, and you want to get as much done as you can during this preparation time before the first game, before the season. It's a long time of not having as much time as you want, and it's a shorter camp time where you have more freedom to install and practice and rehearse and make changes and move things around, just so you are going in the direction and the speed you want to go to once school starts. Because once school does begin, there are, let's call them distractions in the way, things that can get in the way of football and focus for players. So Dana Holgorsen mentioned that today. Doesn't know what the benefit is going to be. Could they be fresher by not practicing as much, not doing as much football for those 3 weeks at the start of the semester? Maybe. Might the players all kill each other because they're going against one another for 5 weeks and then 3 tense weeks once the semester starts? He doesn't know. It's a lot of TBA right now, but he is as curious as anyone to see how it goes. How about players who are here and not? Let's start with who is not here. Russell Haughton-James, 5th-year senior on the offensive line, dismissed from the team. Had been suspended for quite some time after an arrest in May for burglary. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but he was a valuable part, kind of a swing guy who could play different positions. He was even a tight end at some time, a fairly good run blocker. He could do his job. And also, 5th-year seniors don't come around very much in the offensive line. They're valuable. You don't want to run them off or have them leave the team or anything like that, under any circumstances, let alone what would perhaps have happened here. But he was also at a time right there in the mix for left tackle. What have we talked about here on this countdown about positions of need? Left tackle. At the end of the spring, he was the backup. He actually started the spring game in place of Yodny Cajuste. Other players who were not here yet, well, this is a bit different, but Diamante Lindsay, the safety from Martinsburg, was with the team but didn't practice. Holgorsen said he's on the physically unable to perform list, which I wasn't aware existed before today, but I think we understand the meaning there. Freshman cornerback Jaquez Adams, a non-qualifier, not on campus, not with the team. Somewhat good news, he's not going to go to a junior college, which means he won't have to spend additional time getting his associate's degree. He's going to go to prep school. Holgorsen said he's hopeful that he can join the team in the second semester. Who is on campus, though? Well, this is where things get a little bit better and a little bit more interesting. Cornerback Tyree Cole from our Miramar episode, on the field practicing. Also on the field practicing, junior college defensive end Xavier Pegues. Either one of those two gentlemen had been here previously with the team but not practicing. Junior college All-America cornerback Rasul Douglas, freshman receiver Jovan Durant, 2 names that we mentioned in various capacities during the countdown. They're here. They have not yet been cleared by the NCAA's Eligibility Center. Holgorsen was optimistic that will be taken care of soon. Also worth noting that we have discussed, and we got a little bit of clarity on today, what is the role of William Crest? Well, right now he is a little bit of everything, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it works and maybe how he and the offense benefits because of his wild card status. He officially started the day returning punts because that's what West Virginia does. They do special teams at the start of their practices. Maybe that's why we talk about special teams here so much, because that's what we actually get to see. But he was back there, and with players that you have come to expect back there, including K.J. Dillon, but also Cole and freshman receiver Gary Jennings. More names to add to that list. But when he is not a punt returner, he'll obviously be at quarterback. He's going to get half the reps as the backup quarterback, which means 25% of the reps. The others will be split mostly among David Sills and Chris Chugunov. However, when he's not at the quarterback position, he'll move around, receiver, and then running back. That's going to be his role this year. Right now, he's your leading candidate as backup quarterback, but he's also going to get time on the field at those other two skill positions. What's interesting, though, is Dana Holgorsen has 4 quarterbacks, needs to boil it down to 3. How does this work? Well, he's never going to rep 4 in a practice. He's only going to rep 3. However, we'll get most of the reps one day, and then 2 of the backups will kind of rotate with the others. But you're only going to have 3 on the field at one time, which means one day one of the guys is going to sit out. You go through the math in your head. On that type of rotation, Crest will have 3 full days of camp when he's not taking any snaps at quarterback. He'll be obviously at receiver and running back, more involved on those days, which could be beneficial for him and also the other quarterbacks. A lot more to come as the season unfolds. A lot that we've already covered so far here. I thank you for spending so much time in front of the screen and indulging my little office obsession here. That's it for this time. I will see you next time. For the Charleston Gazette Mail, I'm Mike Casazza.